Peace, peace. Tasha this one again. And I just wanted to talk about this discussion I had with an Uber driver, this New York Uber driver I met today. I'll be driving for Uber sometimes. Just because I actually do it in my area, you know what I'm saying? And it's a good way to make money sometimes, a little extra money. But what I notice is it's starting to get real slow. Like, before when I used to turn my Uber app on, man, I used to be turning down rides. Now it be times to where I be going like up to like 15 minutes without getting you know what I'm saying, or someone suggesting a ride from Uber, right? Now, besides that, I find a lot of problems, and this is what basically was the topic of the conversation that me and the gentleman had, the one I told you, the New York Uber driver, right? He told me he was renting a vehicle, right? So he was renting a vehicle to drive for Uber, right? So he told me that the vehicle that he was renting, I think he was renting it from Enterprise, and I think he was paying $260 a week. All right. So he was renting the car from Uber. He was renting the car from the rental car to drive Uber to basically pay them $260 a week. All right, so now let me touch on this. As me being an Uber driver and I have my own vehicle, right? Now I'm gonna tell you what I was telling him. I said even if you got your own vehicle, you still lose out driving for Uber. Yeah, I understand you can make money and it's a hustle, but I mean, I guess at the point in time, it's better than nothing. So I'm not going to sit there and say at least it is an opportunity. But the rates alone, the rates suck, man. You know what I'm saying? The Uber rates suck, man, because the rates are not worth some of these trips that Uber got set. And this is the same thing he was telling me. And they have a thing with Uber, which is called the surge, right? And what the surge does is, they say it's the areas where it's in high demand or the most demanded Uber or requested Uber drivers. Now, I'm gonna put this out there, right? I think the surge is a scam. You know why I'm gonna tell you? You know how many times I done been in the middle of the surge and it never went off? And then I'm watching it and I'm watching it get smaller and then it's starting to just fade away and I'm like wow. So I'm like damn, I was in the surge for like almost 3 minutes and ain't nobody request a ride, but yet the surge is supposed to be the most requested area with like, I guess out of the areas that you're in at that point in time, or if you happen to be in that area. So that's something I found crazy because in other areas when the surge is on, I noticed that like, I get a ride. Like if I'm somewhere like in Hudson County or whatever, the surge always like if the surge is on, somebody requests a ride. But I notice certain areas that I be in that it doesn't the surge doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna pick up riders. All right. So now okay. So now, all right. This guy he paying $260 a week. And I told him, I said, you got to take into account a lot of things, man. To make 260, that means you got to at least try to make at least $700 a week. And sometimes to make $700 a week is very hard, man. I mean, I don't know how, like, I mean, I'm not saying I don't be trying to make that much, but I know to the little bit of money sometimes that I be trying to make be hard, and the hours that I be putting into it just doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like case in point, I'm gonna give you an example of one of the trips I took. Or matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an example of one of the days and how many hours it took me to make that. All right, so on January 16th, I made $61. I drove for 4 hours. Right, I made 9 trips. The biggest trip I made was 18 hours. This was 23 minutes and it was 16 miles. right? I got a problem with that ride alone right there. I don't think nobody should have that luxury to go nowhere for fucking 16 miles for no $20. $20 for 16 miles is a lot. You understand? And just to give up almost $4 of that to Uber or whatever is even more. So, that's one of the days or whatever though. But I'm not telling you like you supposed to be able to make that in an hour if you driving your own personal vehicle. If it's done by how fast you can get to the next customer, or like how efficient you are in getting your customers to where they gotta go and picking up another customer. That's basically what it comes off to. But sometimes it still don't, because you be taking people places that be like maybe 3 miles, and sometimes it take 25 minutes, 30 minutes to get there, and they still try to give you like $7 or $8 for that. So it's nowhere in the world, if you driving your own personal vehicle, that you should be limited to make $15 an hour, or they should be advertising even $25 an hour. Because if you take somewhere sufficient, like somewhere very far or whatever, I think the rate should be different. And like I like the driver. I felt bad for him, man, because he was a immigrant, and he came over here, and he trying to survive or whatever. And it's hard to survive over here, especially with these high ass rents and everything else that's going on. But as far as what he was telling me, I'm like, so I asked him, do he make it? So he was like, yeah, well, he makes it. He makes it the most time, and then sometimes he don't make. You know what I'm saying? He don't make over that, because I don't know how it's done. I don't know. Do they dock you negative that? Because I guess on the app, like if you try to do the instant pay, I don't know, would they stop you from, like, would they take the first 260 you make out, or do they let you pay that on your own? I don't know how that works with the Uber app. Um, but like I said though, that's crazy. Like you got to sit out the. You know how much time that is for $260. But at least it's not his car. But still, that's a lot of money. That's like 800. That's over 800. That's almost $1,100 a month to for a fucking rent a car. You know what I'm saying? That means for you to be making $1,100 a month, you got to be at least making at least 3 or 4 thousand a month. And to make $3 or 4 thousand a month with Uber is going to be very hard, because you're going to have to really catch some trips that's you want. And then even if you in the surge area, unless the surge is going to be there, like it's indefinite. Like from my experience with Uber, what I noticed, the best way, the only way, the best days to really Uber is in the evenings. But then sometimes I'm starting to notice that the surge in the evening don't even be don't be no surge in the evening in certain areas or whatever. Um, the evening, holidays where there's a definite surge in precipitation, like when it's raining and it's very cold or it's snowing. Um, and like I said, on holidays, like I mean, holidays is like like New Year's Eve. Oh yeah, and then like in the middle of the night, if you like from, I guess you want to say from like 9 to maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. That's another good time. Me, I never Uber that time, because I don't like the crowd, and it'd be like people get in your car, like, and they be forgetting that it's your car, and they don't remember that it's a cab. But like I said, it's a lot of problems with Uber, because the money don't make up to what the damage you do to your vehicle, because people get in your car and they don't respect your vehicle. And that's the problem. Like, the problem is they don't respect your vehicle. That's a problem. Like, this might be your personal vehicle, and you're just trying to make a little extra money in it or whatever. And like I said, I mean, some of these rides, like you gotta put more time in to take somebody somewhere for almost $5. Like, to go 3 and 4, 5 or 6 miles for fucking $4 or $5 is crazy. That's crazy, and that's going to show you how Uber basically don't appreciate the drivers. Because if they really appreciate the drivers, they will be giving them a little bit more, and then just making the surge will be a lot more better because sometimes the customer gotta pay because like they can't every day get. Do you know how spoiled Uber is making people? Really? Do you know how spoiled people is behind Uber? They are very spoiled. I mean, and they spoiled to the point to where, like, people thinking like this is gonna be normality or whatever. They gonna get in a cab and expect to get that. And one of the cab drivers gonna put them out. You know, I mean, like I said, and that's the problem. You can't really save no money with Uber because you constantly putting gas in. For my man said for the 260 that he was putting up, that he had to put up. He also had to put like another $100 to make the 260. So he said he had to fill his tank up like maybe he said maybe like 3 times. And he said it came to over $100. So I'm just even speculating. I think it was more than 100 because I know to fill my car up right now, gas is up. It's like two. It's like almost $40. You know what I'm saying? Like for half a tank, it's a little bit over half. A couple months ago, I could put $10 in there and it'd be a half a tank. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the gas went up and the Uber race is staying the same with no surges to where you can even out your money. Because that's what it's all about. The surges. The surges help you even out your money. You might have caught one ride going one way that might have been $78, but then you caught somebody else that might have been in surge that's going like, you know what I'm saying, that's normally a 12 $13 trip, but now it's like almost $40. So that's the difference from the surge, and that's what the surge help people get ahead or balance out these terrible Uber fees. So I mean, you know, like I said, comment, like, subscribe. I'm Tonsilus One. I'm out. Peace.